Hi everybody and welcome. There's no place like home, and that's where we are for the Bradley softball team. We're at Louisville Slugger. Home plate is just behind us, and today we're happy to introduce you to Sarah Willis, now beginning her second year as head coach of the Bradley Braves. Sarah, nice to have you with us. Why don't you take us back to your hometown and what it was like growing up there?
Well, hometown, or I'll say hometowns, because I grew up all over the country. Now everyone always asks, was it a military thing? Were we a military family? Nothing like that. My father, still to this day, is working human resources, but he worked for, was Boeing's competitor back in the day, Roar. So every opportunity we got, since I was the youngest of four, Mom stayed at home with us kids. We followed wherever Dad's job took us. So hometown is a relative term. Hometown was pretty much wherever my family was, and you know that's where we were. So we'll name off some of the states. We'll go with California. We'll go with Arkansas, we'll go Pennsylvania, Texas, and then the state of Washington. Washington is mostly where my family's from, near the Seattle area. So I guess, you know, high school relative, that's where I grew up or, graduated and before moving on to college. So
Now, that would be the first job for you here at Bradley, west of the Mississippi River then, right?
Well, growing up now, with jobs, however, never worked on the West Coast. All of the jobs, everything has been East Coast, SEMO, Princeton, Dayton, Bowling Green State University, and now here. Played at Texas Tech, had an opportunity to GA and TA down there in my sports psychology program, my master's in that. So yeah, I never went back since. You know, being the youngest of four and being the baby in the family, or everyone, I was the first one to really leave and just stay gone, I guess. But we visit.
Did your mom and dad play sports when they were growing up?
They did. Now, my father was the oldest of six, so it was a lot more recreational. He did a little bit of basketball. He had some height for that, but he worked a lot throughout his childhood, and again, being the oldest of six, I think a little bit of responsibility there. And then my mother, there was just she and her brother, and she was a figure skater. And she actually did pairs figure skating with her brother, quite good actually, and she went to a very high level and even took a hiatus from her college career for a little bit at University of Washington to train professionally in the San Francisco area back in the 70s. So figure skating, and then a little bit recreation, but we've always enjoyed sports and athletics growing up as a family. So.
How about your siblings?
My sister did a lot of synchronized swimming.
Wow.
That was a big one, and she had the voice, she had the vocals, so she grew up singing a lot, and she works for as a side gig, does vocals in a professional choir that travels. So she's still really enthusiastic about that. And then my two brothers in the middle, one did golf at Barry University down in Florida in college. And then my brother Adam, who actually probably could have been very, very athletic. He was always athletic in everything he did, and he was a better golfer than the other brother, but he just didn't necessarily invest the time. So he dabbled in a little bit of everything, but now he's active in Seattle SWAT.
Wow.
As a squad leader. Yeah, so he's propelling out of airplanes and helicopters, and Bill Clinton was in a couple months ago, carting him around everywhere. So yeah, I don't know, it's interesting how we're all in one family, but we're all so very different.
Where did you first play softball, and how did you decide to be a pitcher?
Well, so I first started playing softball when I was in third grade. My third grade teacher at the time, we were living in Austin, Texas, so there you go, there was the state we were in at the time. Her daughter was really active in one of the leagues, and so I was about 10 years old, never played a ball sport like that before, was always an active swimmer, did competitive travel swimming, was very competitive in soccer, so those were kind of the sports leading up to that. But I remember I was watching a college softball game on TV, which that was actually rare back in the day. It wasn't quite as televised as it is today. And I was watching the University of Texas at the time, and I was like, well, what is this game? This looks like fun. They're diving in the dirt. They're hitting. They're throwing hard. Like they look like the guys do when they're playing. So I was like, I started asking some questions and told my parents, and my parents looked at me probably like, well, nobody else played ball sports, so where are you coming up with this? And lo and behold, again, my third grade teacher, Miss Lord, her daughter played, asked the questions, got signed up, went out, tried out, made a team. The one thing I could do right off the bat was hit. Catching was terrible. It was just god awful. Could not catch a ball to save my life, as we were talking about earlier, watching our T-ballers now. But just fell in love with it right from there. Pitching came a little bit later. I didn't start pitching until I was almost 12, which is a lot later in comparison to when I think more athletes that play college ball today would say that they started. But I took a look. I thought it looked like so much fun. I also wanted to be in the moment every single time. I wanted the ball every single time. So I'm like, well, where do you get to actually put your hands on the ball every time? Well, it's pitcher or catcher. And so I'm like, hey, I think I can do that. Or at least it looks like fun, and I wanted to have a go at it. So I told my mom next time. She's like, oh boy, she probably was hoping she wasn't going to have to be one of those, pitching parents, and be stressed out all the time about what their kid's doing in the circle. Are they doing a good job for the team or not? But lo and behold, then I kind of just got into that and never looked back.
You've been at Bradley, you're a seasoned veteran now, going into your second year. What do you think of the university and the athletic department?
The university as a whole is just a fantastic place to be. It's such a family-oriented university, which I think sometimes, it's very obtainable and achievable on the smaller scale because it is a private institution. And it is interesting I've worked at a lot of private institutions now and at a lot of state institutions. And again, there's pros and cons to both sides of it from the athletic side of things. But overall, the connection that you feel with main campus, with the people, you get a lot more intimate with those relationships, and that just makes for a fun working environment, a real close, tight-knit community that I feel Bradley is. So it's been fantastic. Same can be said for the athletic department. We're a smaller athletic department. A lot of people wear a lot of hats, in our department, as you're very well aware of, Dave.
Yep.
And I think we just have some really great just people. And that makes the workplace, when you're coming to work every single day, it's just like, I get to go to work here. I love going to work here. You look forward to going into the office and seeing what kind of conversation you're going to have today, with Jim, with Elvis, with, our athletic director, anyone. You just never know what you're going to get into, which makes it fun.
Final question. You're a mom.
Yes.
With two daughters playing softball and a husband who's very supportive.
Yes.
I had a chance to meet them today.
Yes, you did.
What a great, I can see your family having different talents and all working together.
Yeah.
Tell me about what it's like to be a mom watching your kids play.
Like the best thing ever. Watching them be passionate about something that, we were also passionate about in our youth. Joe was a phenomenal baseball player. Of course, he's pretty annoyingly good at everything he does, and we're really competitive. So for the fact that he can pick up and almost do anything pretty well, that's where competitively I'm like, man, can't you just stink at something? But that being said, we're both very competitive people. We're both very driven people. And at the end of the day, when we're raising our family, when we're raising our girls, we want them to be so capable and so confident that no matter the outcomes, they love what they do, and they keep wanting to do it again and again and again. And it's been a lot of fun. First year, officially T-ball with both. Zoe's 6.5. Peyton, my little Pepe, she's 4.5. She'll be 5 in October. But they're fearless out there, and I love it. But seeing them play T-ball now, and Zoe's going to try out for 8U softball here soon, and kind of getting more geared and gravitated, making the switch over to softball. It's just so funny because we don't prep her in saying this, but if you ask Zoe what she wants to do when she grows up, she says, Mom, I want to be a softball player.
There you go.
So I want them to be their own kids. We want to get them involved into as many activities as possible so that they can find their own way and be their own person, with mom and dad supporting them along the way. But it's just kind of eye-opening for a moment, like big picture, you know, that what I do every single day and what I get to call as my job, this privilege that it is to be able to coach and say that that's my job. You know, that hits home. So every single day when you know, I say goodbye to Zoe and Peyton and we're going to be on the road, and now I'm spending, you know, the next 72, 90 hours with the team and my other family, my other set of, you know, 20 daughters, that, you know, this is a family, and I truly mean that. You know, then I know that I'm still doing it for the right reasons, and I'm showing my daughter that, you know, you can be a mother, you can be a wife, but you can have this career and be passionate about something, and with that love and support, nothing stops you. You know, so I'm just truly blessed with the family I have and the support from Joe and both Zoe and Peyton. It's pretty awesome.
This has been an awesome experience for me to get to know you. And folks, this personality here is the head of our softball program. And when the ball goes into play again next season, be here and root this team as they climb the ladder and build their program for success. This woman is going to be successful, and you can tell that. Thanks for the get-together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.